Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all. Best vacation souvenir.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcasts should have a theme song. Podcasts should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Oh, Hal, I'm excited about this topic.
I am too. I'm also excited we did a show this past weekend.
We did. Oh, I was just jumping right in. But we haven't. No, we're not doing that.
Plug this train off the tracks immediately to catch up.
Yeah, you really do. But you know what? I like that you do that. We did have a show. It was an absolute delight to get up on stage and do a proper thrilling adventure hour show. It's sad that not everybody could be there.
Yes.
There were a few core members of the Thrilling Adventure cast that for one reason or another could not be there this time. But we had some fun new guest stars. We had some old guest stars come back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great show, man. And you were great.
You too. You, me, and Annie were all over the place at it, which was really exciting.
It was fun to get to just play a bunch.
Yeah, and just good to hang out. And it was weird to think we've never done that show at Dynasty Typewriter before because we performed there for so long doing Work Juice Improv, and I've done shows there. Like it's odd to think, that was our first time. There. Yeah, the Star Wars show's there. Next one coming up soon.
It is weird having one dressing room instead of two backstage.
And not a dressing room at all, but
not a dressing room at all, just a green room. Yeah.
Best appointed green room of any like non-gigantic theater.
Yeah.
I think
popcorn, candy.
Yeah.
I like they have popcorn backstage and then they have popcorn toppings. And I had never thought of this before because apparently I'm not still 13, but the idea of popcorn toppings, which are just like, sure, just pour M&Ms or Flamin' Hot Cheetos on top of your popcorn. Why not use the popcorn as the lettuce in this particular salad?
I do that sometimes if I get, because, I like a popcorn with some peanut M&Ms. I will dump the peanut M&Ms in there. If I have goobers, I'll dump the goobers in there.
Does it not bother you that they sink to the bottom? Because that was the whole reason that peanuts never caught on as an addition to breakfast cereal.
It is not great. It does sort of work its way down. It's true. But also you have that fun of like a feel around treasure hunt at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I know there are a good, like, because we almost always leave a little bit of popcorn in the bag. Like, you don't eat every little bit in there. But if you have peanut M&Ms, by God, you're going to get all of them.
You're going to go through and pick out through the popcorn all of the peanut M&Ms. Like it's a lost watch in the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese.
Exactly.
You're going to go digging and you're not going to stop until you find it.
That's right. Oh, another pile of vomit. No keys in there. And just, I enjoyed that hunt.
Yeah.
That's a fun part of it.
Right. I dig it. And it saves your dessert for the end. It's like, no. Peanut M&Ms are for dessert. Popcorn is for dinner. So it pushes your dessert all the way to the bottom. So you have to eat it last.
I also eat it all so fast that I don't have as big a problem with the sinking. The problem is that, the real solution is just pure pigginess, which I'm very good at in a movie theater, which I learned from my father who would grab, I think still does. It's like you get so much popcorn and it immediately has to be pushed into your face, and then most of it winds up on your shirt. He eats like Cookie Monster at the movie theater.
Let me ask, I know this isn't the topic for tonight, but individual kernel in the mouth, 3 or 4, handful the size of an apple and take a bite out of it, or tongue directly into the bucket and then pull them up individually by tongue friction?
No, I don't eat like a giraffe. I don't do that.
I giraffe every once in a while. But it's only right at the beginning. You can't giraffe when you're down to the bottom of the bucket because then you're just sticking your head in. That's not giraffing. That's ostriching.
Okay, that's fair. I don't do like a full like apple-sized thing, but I do get like a good handful, and then I just shove it into my mouth. It looks like if you saw it from the right angle, or I wore another like a different shirt sleeve on my other arm, you would think somebody was trying to kill me by forcing popcorn into my windpipe. But that's me.
That's a Wonka move, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. I'm the only kid who just dies from popcorn. Normally, the one kid is fine who fell into the river, and the other one turned into the blueberry. We're gonna juice her. She'll be fine. Hal's dead.
Yeah. Wow. Brutal. I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, there really is a fine line between a Wonka and a 7. Really is
They're
that,
similar tales.
Yeah, they really are. It's that 28 grams. That's the dividing line. Mm-hmm. Whether that 28 grams leaves your body or not.
Is that how much popcorn I'm trying to shove into my face at a time?
That is both how much a soul weighs and how much popcorn you're trying to shove in your face at one time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Which now I have a reference for because I know that the little bowls I have, that's 55 grams of cereal. Great. Now I know what 55 grams looks like. I'm really trying to switch to metric. I want to switch to metric so badly. Because everyone in the world uses it and it's so much easier.
But not here. It's not going to help here.
No, but I do I use a lot of cooking videos off of YouTube, and that's always in grams.
Yeah, like 48 grams of butter. Right. And then you have to go you have to go to Google and look it up, and it will tell you. You want to be able to do the calculation immediately, right? Is that part of it too?
It is. Yeah. What I do is I just switch the little scale in the kitchen to grams. Then I don't have to calculate nothing.
That's the same thing. Ounces to grams. It's easy.
Fantastic. All I know is a good sandwich weighs 2 kilograms. Right? 4 pounds.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Let's do it. But we're not here to talk about with bread on them. Yeah, that's how I do it. And I have to swing it like a kettlebell to get it into my mouth.
Swing it and take a bite and then swing it back down. Like, this workout's getting easier.
But we're not here to talk about kettlebell workouts or 4-pound sandwiches. We're here to talk about souvenirs. How are you a souvenir guy?
I enjoy perusing souvenirs. I have, over the course of my life, accumulated a great number of them. But over time, when I do my sort of Marie Kondo purges of things, those are the things where I look at them and go, like, I don't feel a strong emotional attachment to this. Because that's part of it. Is like, this makes me feel good. I keep it. I don't really feel anything, or it makes me feel bad. It goes away. So by and large, souvenirs have not stuck around in my life, but I do like collecting them. What about you? I assume you have a ton of them. That you don't
I'm a big souvenir fan. My problem is anything that I would view as a souvenir, something that is, whether it's a souvenir from a vacation or a souvenir of a memory with a person I'm close to just in everyday life, I feel bad getting rid of them. I don't want to get rid of them because I feel like that, for some reason, it feels like if I toss a souvenir out, it feels like I'm tossing that memory out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I know is not true. So, like, I can't toss this out because that means the next time I go through this big box, I'm not going to have this thing to pick up and go, oh, yeah, I remember that. I found some fun stuff online. Weirdly, Holiday Inn put out a few very dense infographics about souvenirs and the motives behind souvenir shopping. I thought this would be interesting. About half say it's to bring a part of the vacation home. Another quarter say it's a fond reminder of travel destinations. And 10% say, and this is something you mentioned just now, I think is interesting. 10% say it's to build and grow their souvenir collections.
Sure.
Is there anything that you collect when you travel?
No, only in terms of like, I always want to visit Hard Rock cafes, but I don't need to bring things back with me as proof that I was there. Just the knowing I was there is enough for me to enjoy it. But I do have Jennifer's grandmother collected spoons. You know, those little collectible spoons, but there was one from every state and had a little rack that I think either she or Jennifer's grandfather had homemade to hang them. And I was always impressed because that is not only kind of neat to see how these states are represented on these spoons, but also dedication and proof. Like, this person has visited all 50 states.
Yeah.
I think she went and collected them from each state. I don't think she just was ordering them by mail or however, because they've been around for a while. So that's not something I collect. And there's plenty of stuff I do collect. What about you? Are there any like items that you go, well, I have to get my this from wherever?
Absolutely. There are. First of all, though, to go back a little bit, souvenir spoons, a huge souvenir trend, specifically American, began in the mid 1800s. Spoons being a thing that you used all the time, but getting a travel souvenir version of a daily object that you would have in your home anyway is a big category of souvenirs that we're going to talk about. But yeah, more of a niche hobby now. the Souvenir spoons. But for me, it's keychains. Every country that I have visited, I will always buy a keychain. And I even keep it pretty similar to style, which is one like carved into metal or etched, you know what I mean? Like little relief on metal keychain.
Yeah.
Mostly silver, all roughly the same size because I keep them all in one box. And that's one thing I love about a great souvenir, I think, is the ability to travel easily with it. I think that's going to be one of the criteria that pops up in this. The ability for a souvenir to be small and light and portable, and yet still something to remind you of this, of your vacation. For me, the keychain thing's great because when I open up the little wooden box I have that has all my keychains in it, I see all the other keychains from the places that I visited, and it gives me a moment of that tactile fun of going through those.
I think a keychain is definitely a contender. I think that there are a small number of contenders for this.
I think once we look into figure out what the criteria are, I absolutely agree with you.
Can I talk about some stuff knowing that? And I think the criteria will sort of be shaped as we go through this. Can we do a quick tour of the graveyard of things?
The souvenir graveyard?
That maybe you don't get anywhere anymore. And these are things that I loved as a kid and thought were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
One is, and this is a version of a keychain, is the squeeze flashlight with the world's smallest bulb that throws like 2 inches of light in front of it.
Yeah, it's literally just for your keys to find the hole in the door in your car, I think.
Well, some of them are.
You're not going to use that.
Ones.
You're not going to use that to see if there's a perp at the construction site.
No, this is a plastic cylinder that you squeeze to activate the light.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to, I think those are more like buttons or more like those are made for this was like as a kid, if we would go to Dutch Wonderland in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that you could get those.
Oh, the button's on like the end of it, or you squeeze the middle?
You squeeze the middle, and it's shaped like a kid's trash can, that oval shape, and then it's plastic. It's cheap, and it does like if you have that, and I think you imagine. It's cool to have things that light up, number one, when you're a kid. You love having things that light up. And you may imagine some use for it. But if you fall down a well and you have that thing, they're never going to find you if all they're going to look for is that light.
Yeah. No, that light's not going to throw very far.
Yeah.
And you will not know what is more than 2 inches in front of you in that well.
Correct.
I got one to throw you from the graveyard.
Yes, please.
Here's one in the graveyard. Frequently a keychain. Less often now that everybody's carrying a phone with a camera in their pocket. But that is the souvenir photo that they then turn into a tiny little slide and put inside what looks like a little 3-inch megaphone. And then you hold it up to the light and look through it and you see that one little lit up slide of you and your buddies doing whatever, or your family doing whatever it is you're doing.
Oh, look, a covered bridge.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this picture I got at the souvenir store of something I've never visited or seen, but that I've also seen a million times in other places. And if it didn't have the location etched on it somewhere, I would have no idea what this was. Like you could get a bunch of them together. It might be the same picture and it's like something in Croatia and they're just telling you, oh yeah, this is from Syosset. Welcome to upstate New York. Hope you have fun here. Here's another one. This is from the light up category, which is the like little fiber optic things that look like,
oh yeah.
And they light up at the end and they're all different colors. You can put the whole like light up swords that aren't lightsabers, all those things. I wanted those so badly. And then I would get them. The batteries would die and nobody wanted to waste a battery getting it to light up again. Nobody, me, myself included. It was dead. The magic was gone.
There's always going to be a cart selling Blinky garbage. Wherever you go, there's a cart selling Blinky garbage. The Blinky garbage and the Blinky garbage is only supposed to be used. It's not I think it's the opposite of a souvenir. It is a one-time use disposable thing for the event.
It's ephemera.
You know what I mean? But listen, there is ephemera that is going to show up on this list that I am very strongly putting into contention.
Okay.
I think there's some really good versions of that. I will put another one on that list, and this is one I see all the time working in a theme park. And that is novelty clothing. I'm putting novelty clothing, specifically hats, because here's the thing. If I'm like, oh, I like that hat. If I like a baseball cap, I'm like, I like that baseball cap. This reminds me of Jamaica. I'm going to have my baseball cap that says Jamaica across it. That's one thing. Yeah. But how many times are you going to show up at work or at school or out in the world wearing that big floppy goofy hat with the 2 long ears on it and the 2 big white gloves that you had to have when you visited Disneyland and swore, no, I'm going to wear it again.
Yeah, I really need this pirate hat that you can get at any amusement park.
Exactly.
I think for Disney in particular, this is why this is a brilliant piece of marketing, is you spend however much they charge for it, it is way too much for that hat with ears and the accompanying gloves. And then you see it and you have that hungover moment when you leave the park and realize that you've spent money on this and that you cannot wear it anywhere else, with the exception of maybe Halloween. And even then, you have a much better costume than this hat and gloves combo. So you realize, well, the only place where I can wear this, and not only will I stick out, but I will blend in. I must go back to the parks. I must return. Maybe I'll spring for one of those passes.
The Mickey ears, due to their iconic nature, I will give a pass to the Mickey ears on this. Because those become their own. No, because they become their own souvenir. I think Mickey ears are a shelf thing. You know what I mean?
Right, but they're really only for 2 to 5 places in the world, 6 places.
Yeah.
I forget how many parks there are.
Yeah.
Like different locations have parks, but
I'll tell you this, and this might get me in trouble with my current employer. Universal is doing one of the dumbest things that I've seen. Because look, Mickey ears are iconic because that is the iconic image of Mickey Mouse. That's the hidden Mickey. That's the 1 big dot and the 2 little ones. Do you know what they are selling at Universal now?
Is it Shrek horns?
No, it's hats or headbands that just have 2 random things where the ears of Mickey ears would go.
Like
so
what?
On Mickey, for Nintendo, 2 mushrooms on top of your head. They look like Mickey ears, or 2 of those little the Super Mario ghosts.
Yeah.
It's one of them that they sell is a star and a banana peel. And you're like, come on. You can't just start selling Mickey ears with other crap on your head.
No, what you do is you create a series of charm bracelets or necklaces where you sell each thing. I have the banana, I have the red shell, the green shell. I got the star, I got the star. That's all Mario Kart stuff. Yeah, adapted from Mario Brothers, the Super Mario universe, SMU. I got another one for you.
Okay, I love this graveyard, by the way.
Giant pencils, which I had one when I was a kid. It was again a Lancaster or Dutch Wonderland. We didn't go like a million places. Like that was where we went. I have treasured memories. Love it there. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. My parents got me this giant pencil. I was so excited. I was like, look at the size of this pencil I have. I can't wait to get to school and use this pencil. All the other schmucks are going to be using these regular size pencils. I'm going to have a huge pencil. And then I wore out the lead and I realized that it doesn't come with a sharpener.
No.
Nor do they
You've got to have a Bowie knife on you.
Yeah. And I thought, do I have to learn how to whittle? Do we have a whittling knife here? I bet we don't. And I'm not going to ask anybody to do it. So it just sort of sat there unused. I might have tried to sharpen it with the scissors once. Didn't work. It was a single use.
They didn't teach whittling at Appalachian Friends School?
Nope.
You'd think.
No, I only took Introduction to Mountain Dew. That's all at Appalachian Friends. Yeah.
That good old Mountain Dew. Hal, can you turn a light on, please, in your office? Because you are slowly getting darker.
I love that it's fading. I'm fading away, Mark. If only you had gotten your parents to kiss at that dance, I would still be here.
Oh, no.
Here, I'll put on a lamp, but I'm going to be back to it.
It's just is like a little lamp right under your chin. You know what? Grab one of those cylinder flashlights.
There you go. Is that better?
Oh, that's so much better. Now I can see your beautiful face.
What a privilege.
It is a privilege. I want to throw another one into the graveyard. And you said something earlier that sparked my brain, which was you said proving to other people. And there's an element of a souvenir that you can look at it. I think you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as either proving to other people that you have been somewhere,
right,
versus reminding yourself of a thing that you did or went to.
Right.
And I think for me personally, I think objectively, Souvenir in French meaning something akin to memory.
Right.
Or reminder. I think that there are a lot of these we could eliminate because they are not entirely, but primarily designed to prove to other people that you have done the thing or been to the thing. And I would say that eliminates the been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Now,
whether it's for a concert or a place that you've been. You are wearing one currently that says Seattle, Washington.
That I bought in Seattle, and I'll tell you why I bought it. It was not for anybody else. I bought it because I really love the city of Seattle. I really enjoyed the trip there. It was a last-minute trip for my birthday that we just figured out we could do and did it. And I wanted to get something. I also got a couple of Supersonics things because I feel bad that they don't have an NBA team, and I think they should. And that's for me. This shirt is also for me. It's because I loved visiting there. And when I get it out to wear it, it makes me feel happy because it reminds me of that trip.
Okay.
But I can see how, like, it would be like, I survived Dick's last resort in Tuskegee. Like, you know, that feels a little bit more, well, maybe even then. It sparks a memory. But I understand it's something outward facing, so it would feel more like something. Like, you have your keychains that are in a box that I wouldn't know about unless you told me, even though I probably could guess you had something like that.
Yeah.
But to everybody else, they wouldn't know.
That's true. And you know what, you're right. Maybe we shouldn't eliminate that just yet because sort of like a book versus a Kindle, when we talked with Will Wheaton on the show, and he said that a book can recommend a person as much as a person can recommend a book. So there is something to be said for seeing someone in a t-shirt of a thing that you recognize. I know I have a Rose and Crown t-shirt from the pub in Epcot in the Britain Pavilion. And if someone came up to me and said, hey, isn't that the pub in Epcot? It would spark a delightful conversation.
100%.
So, you know what? You're right. I will not eliminate it just yet. That was cynical of me to think that it's only for proof and not for community. My fit today is a Rick Steves Keep on Travelin' shirt.
Love it.
Not technically a souvenir because it's not from a place. All right. Why don't we take a quick break? And when we come back, I have broken the major. Oh, wait, real quick before we go, I want to add one more to the graveyard of souvenirs.
Okay.
And that is Ampullae. Did you think we were going to get through this without a little history lesson, Hal? No, we are not. Ampullae, they are in the graveyard of souvenirs. It turns out around the year 500 AD, it was common for pilgrims to chip pieces off of religious buildings and statues as souvenirs. So to stop this, the Catholic Church began creating these little containers called ampullae that would hold holy water. And they would sell these to people who came to visit assorted religious sites so that they would stop chipping pieces off the building. Those were around until about 1400 when pilgrim badges took over because they were easy to mass produce. So throw those in the graveyard. And then when we get back, we will talk about some of the big categories. How's that sound?
That sounds good. We can use a smashed and stretched penny for a headstone.
Ooh. We'll be right back.
Say you like video games, and who doesn't?
I mean, some people probably don't.
Okay, but a lot of people do. So say you're one of those people, and you feel like you don't really have anyone to talk to about the games that you like.
Well, you should get some better friends.
Okay, yes, you get some better friends, but you could also listen to Triple Click, a weekly podcast about video games hosted by me, Kirk Hamilton.
Me, Maddie Myers.
And me, Jason Schreier. We talk about new releases, old classics, industry news, and whatever, really.
We'll show you new things to love about games, and maybe even help you find new friends to talk to about them.
Triple Click. It's kind of like we're your friends. Find us at MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jesse Thorne, the founder of Maximum Fun, and I have a special announcement. I'm no longer embarrassed by my brother and me. You know, for years, each new episode of this supposed advice show was a fresh insult, a depraved jumble of erection jokes, ghost humor, and frankly, this is for the best, very little actionable advice. But now, as they enter their twilight years, I'm as surprised as anyone to admit that it's gotten kind of good. Justin, Travis, and Griffin's witticisms are more refined, like a humor column in a fancy magazine. And they hardly ever say bazinga anymore. So, after you've completely finished listening to every single one of all of our other shows, why not join the McElroy brothers every week for My Brother, and Me?
All right, Hal. As promised, I've divided these up into some categories. Where do you want to start? Here's the 3 categories we have.
Okay.
We've got in the home, we've got wearables, and we've got knickknacks.
Oh, let's start with in the home.
In the home. All right. There are 2 categories within the home.
Oh.
Yeah. We've got kitchenware / housewares.
Yeah.
And perishables.
Perishables. Tell me more.
Let's start with perishables. This is one that I love to get. I think this souvenir is super fun, and that is flavors from wherever I've gone.
Okay.
Whether it is a box of cookies that I really liked in Vietnam, which we brought back. I say a box of cookies. I think we brought back 5 boxes of these cookies that we really liked, along with teas from around the world, coffees from around the world, and my favorite, spices.
Sure.
I love getting spices around the world in other places. Yes, technically, I imagine I could get many of them back home. But the ability to say, I got herbs de Provence in Provence. You know what I mean? Are you a guy that collects food stuffs while you're out?
Not like that. I might grab stuff. And so Jennifer and I went to Kauai for our 10th wedding anniversary, was it? I think it was our 10th. Yeah, it was. It was our 10th wedding anniversary. And we encountered there are bananas on the island of Kauai. They're these like smaller than usual, and they taste incredible. Never had a banana that good in my entire life. Like truly a cut above every other banana I've ever had. And we
this is the top banana.
This is top banana. This is literally the top banana.
Yeah.
So we would seek them out. We were like, there's a farmer's market. We'll come back for that. If we see somebody selling them by the road, we'll stop there and check it out. But there was never a desire to pack them up and bring them back with us. Certainly like a tea or cookies won't make it far enough.
Yeah.
Tea, maybe. Spices, like if I enjoy something, I might try to recreate it, or I don't cook with that stuff as often as I should. So if I knowing me, I will buy it and bring it home and then never use it. A tea, Jennifer will drink. So
yeah,
that we'd use, but that's not something I generally look for to bring back. I never think of it as a souvenir as much because it's by its very nature, it's not meant to last. It's meant to be used.
For me, this is the one that, this is the perishables section. They will perish.
Yes.
For me, this is the category that I like most to bring to other people.
It's a great gift.
You know what I mean? Like bring a chocolate bar back from a place that I visit, or different or little bottles of maple syrup from Canada, and that's one that I think is really fun and easy to share with friends because it feels weird, like maybe, but it could feel weird to be like, hey, I went on this trip. I got you something. It's a keychain that says Dominican Republic on it. Now I have a keychain for a country that I've never been to.
Right.
Differently, if they said, hey, I got you something when I was in the Dominican Republic. It's called Mama Juana. It is a drink that everybody drinks there that's made of rum and red wine and different aromatics. And that's something fun to have for a moment. You know what I mean? It's fleeting. It's a moment. It's me sharing something from my trip, which I think that's a pretty fun element of that.
Yeah, I like it. To me, the souvenir is something for me, not a gift to give to someone else. So I would look at those are different. I think that is a different topic entirely because what you get for someone else is very different than what you get for yourself. And sometimes it's the same, but that's got to be someone like if I'm not going to ask everybody to get me a shirt when they go somewhere, which is something I like to get. But if I had a child or if my father was going somewhere, he would know that's something I might be interested in. Generally, we get kitchenware stuff. When my dad and Dorota go on a trip, they bring us back stuff for the kitchen, some of which we use pretty regularly, which is great. It's always nice to be thought of. We were given cookies from England, like a tin of cookies, and then we kept the tin afterwards because we liked it so much.
I mean, that's a bit of ephemera to go along with a perishable item is great. we have a tea tin from a trip that I love. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff I think is great. But I would agree with you that kind of is a totally different topic. If it's my memory, then the souvenir is for me. It's a different topic than a gift I would bring home for someone else from a trip. So I would argue there may not be anything that comes out of that category.
I don't think so.
As a victor.
Yeah.
But let's move on to kitchenwares and housewares. I think there are two. I mean, the spoons are a big one. For some reason, tiny bells are one that seems to pop up.
Yeah, ceramic.
A lot of ceramic stuff.
Ceramic ones, yeah.
Yeah, ceramic painted pottery, a classic, very old.
Plates.
Very old, yeah, plates. All of these are very old versions of souvenirs that have been around for hundreds of years.
Yes.
But in our trying to figure out the best souvenir, we talked a little earlier about one of the criteria for it being something small and light. So I think about the only thing from that stoneware, earthenware, ceramic world that is small enough and light enough to be a great souvenir would be a coffee mug.
Coffee mug's great.
Coffee mug's a perfect souvenir.
100% a finalist.
Yeah.
It's something you're going to use a lot. It's something, mugs to me have meaning. Still have that first work juice mug that we all received years ago. That always makes me happy. I have one that says "With love from Philadelphia," which is a care package that my parents, I think a little more specifically my mother, but I give credit to both my parents. But that is very my mother thing to do, is to get a Philly care package and send it to me. So every time that Jennifer uses it or I use it, we think of my mom. So having that as something that you buy, we actually have some. Right before the pandemic, we took a trip in my never-ending birthday quest to see snow. We went up to Kernville up in the mountains. Like middle of California. And the place we stayed was a really fun little inn, and they had these real cool mugs. So we each got one and we use them a lot. And it reminds me of that trip. And it's also useful because I like to drink things.
Yeah, the mug.
I like drinking things out of a mug. It's nice, even if it's not hot.
It's kind of the perfect thing because it's something that you're going to be using anyway. Why not be using a version that reminds you of a happy moment?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all of the souvenir mugs I've ever gotten that I've broken, I have done my best to glue back together and then lined the top shelf that I can't reach anyway of the kitchen cabinet with those. Yeah. So those are along the back. Yeah, I think a souvenir mug is a huge one. I think this one might have a second souvenir that is technically a kitchenware or a houseware, but is also small enough to go into your luggage. And that is the refrigerator magnet. Another huge one.
Refrigerator magnet's a great one. The thing I like about that more than a mug, and you can take them both with you, and this could be this is something that we've got to think of as we think of other things, is assuming you go on a number of trips, you can't store, if you go on 30 trips, you have 30 mugs. You can't store 30 mugs and drink out of 30 mugs. At a certain point, they get put in a box and put away, and at that point, you're just collecting them to have them. You're not really doing much. Like, I have a keepsake box. It's like this big, which is, I'm showing something that's like maybe like 3 shoe boxes next to each other. And that's it. I got everything down to that. I'm happy to show it to you sometime if you ever want to see.
I'd love to.
But I can't, I don't need to get a U-Haul box that holds glasses again. I already have 2 of those I haven't unpacked from when we moved.
There you go.
So that's something I think about. Doesn't mean mugs can't win or that they shouldn't go, but I think that's a major ding, that some of these other things you may be able to have more of them available to see anytime you want.
Well, look, Hal, if what we're figuring out is what's the best one,
right,
and we've already found one within this category that defeats the mug, we might safely be able to give all of our love and joy and say thank you to the mug and then eliminate it for the magnet.
Very Marie Kondo, yes.
Yeah,
thank you,
I'm saying thank you to the mug. All right, so out of the kitchenwares category, that's kitchenwares, housewares, and perishables. Going through to the finals, we have the humble kitchen magnet. Let's move on. Would you like to go knick-knack or wearables?
Let's go wearables. I want to save the knickknacks.
All right. So in wearables, we have 3 that I've thought of. If you've got more, let me know. And that is clothing, hats, T-shirts, etc., jewelry specific to regions which can be an local art and craft or something with word on it. And this is specifically, I think, a theme park thing for Disney, pins. It's a huge, huge thing, the pin trading.
But yeah,
so I added that into this.
Pins are unique. Let's talk about pins. Pins are unique to Disney parks, but also
not necessarily
there are pins for everywhere.
But yeah,
every place makes pins now. They're just not to the level that Disney. You're not going to go to Portland and trade Portland pins with a bunch of other people who also have a bunch of Portland pins.
But pins are great. They may be too small, but they're great. Like if we're looking for smaller is better, then pins are great.
They're neat, and you can put them all on like a piece of cloth or something and frame it, or you can have them all on the strap of a bag or the top of a bag. You used to have a bag that had a bunch of pins on it, or had some.
I had a bag that had.
Mine.
I had 4 pins. It was Blanche, Dorothy, Sophia, and Rose were the 4 pins on my bag.
From that time, but that you visited Florida in 1985.
Well, that's the thing. Like pins can be for things other than a commemorative souvenir. Although I guess so can magnets and mugs and all that stuff, of course.
True. All true.
Yeah. Like, and I have a thing that it's an old like cloth. It's first functioning as a tablecloth now, but along one side of it is a bunch of pins that I've gotten. And that's another easy one to see a whole collection all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think pins are going to make it.
No, I don't. I think there's better stuff.
They're cool. Everybody, Ken famously used to walk around cons with buttons and be like, hey, come find me and I'll give you a button. He had buttons, pins. He was a pin guy.
Ken also threw out a good one, sending postcards to yourself from the places you've been. I've never actually sent them to myself. I have on several occasions bought postcards and then not sent them and just kept the postcards.
Yeah, postcards are neat. I like them when they feel specific to the place or they have some highlights of the place on it. I will never send them to myself, or I'll tell myself I will, or tell myself I'll send them to someone else. But really what I'm doing is giving myself homework on a trip, and I'm not. I just know I'm not going to do it. So I stopped for that reason. But I think it's cool to get a collection of all the places you've been. You can frame that. You can turn that into a piece of art. Ken also travel with postcard stamps because
smart.
He's a grandma.
Yeah.
He's
all in individual Ziploc bags in his handbag.
And he would pack the empty space in his suitcase with ketchup packets from places.
I gotta say, in my research today for this, one of the best ones that I found was condiment packets from around the world. I love that. It's free. It's tiny. You throw it in your luggage. I've got a few in the kitchen right now from our trip to Vietnam. I love it. I think it's great. We have a packet magnet. We have a packet magnet that's like a little file cabinet you open up and pull packets out on the fridge. Very excited about the packet magnet. Yeah.
I didn't check it out when I was there. I'll have to see it next time.
You guys see the packet magnet next time.
Yeah.
What about jewelry?
I like this is a play. I've bought replacement wedding ring. My original wedding ring still doesn't fit my finger yet. It's still a little bit small. We're real close. We're real good. Like another 15, 20 pounds, it'll fit. But I have bought replacement rings in Hawaii and in Portland. So I think about them there. I've bought Jennifer sea turtle stuff, the Honu, when we've been to Hawaii. So that stuff has meaning. But it also, like, I would never buy that for myself. And I think it's very nice. I don't think it's the best souvenir, is what I would say.
Yeah. I have a jade necklace that necklaces are one for me that I like. I got a jade necklace when we were in New Zealand. I also got a Maori fish hook necklace. Yeah, these, I think jewelry is a fine one. The very first souvenir ever, 980 BC, amber beads from Scandinavia were found in Ireland and are commonly believed to be the first ever souvenir. So it goes way back. Yeah, I think there's another criteria that we could look at is unavailability elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like I got this jade necklace that I liked, but I could order it online if I needed to. Or if I wanted to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not gonna order a cheap magnet somewhere.
Yeah,
like that's a spur of the moment purchase, and generally a little like. I think another thing is I'm not going to say affordability, but by and large, a piece of jewelry, if it's nice, is going to cost you more.
Yeah,
than like a small trinket to remind you. And to me, like I think affordability or like a decent price point should be in there.
I would
it makes
agree
it
with
easy
that.
to get it everywhere you go. You don't want to add a ton of cost to your trip.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, then that leaves within this category clothing. And I know we talked about it a little bit already, and I know you're a fan of them. I am a fan of them myself. I was just curious whether or not the proving to others versus reminding myself was a disqualifier for it. But the phrase, been there, done that, got the t-shirt is a ubiquitous phrase because a t-shirt is a classic souvenir.
Yeah, something you wear, it freshens up the wardrobe. It's expanded my wardrobe by one shirt. Whole trip expanded it by two.
That's like 25% more wardrobe for you.
I know. It's crazy. You never would have thought. Well, I retired 2 shirts. I needed to keep the balance.
Wait a minute. What did you retire? Please don't say the Avengers Assemble or the Captain America.
I don't know where the Captain America is. I haven't worn it in a while because mine are like stacked. Yeah. So I have to, it keeps being the same shirts again. Less because I only have a few shirts, but more because they're the shirts on top when I put away the clean laundry. So I'm just taking from those piles, like, well, that's on top again.
The top ones, yeah.
But always Philadelphia stuff. The Thrilling Adventure Hour t-shirt, I think I tore up and threw away because you couldn't tell what was on the front anymore, and it was so messed up. That and the night. I don't think I have either of the Night Vale shirts anymore either. They just don't fit.
I have our cross. Oh no, I think I had our crossover shirt. Stitched into my souvenir t-shirt quilt.
Really smart. I wish I had one. I kind of like wanted to ask whoever has those files and just get another one made just for me. Yeah. Like I would love to have a fresh one.
I still have my This Is My Hal shirt.
I still have mine too.
Yeah.
I have a Philip Fathom shirt I haven't worn in forever. I mean,
so are we going to say that the t-shirt makes it through to the finals?
I think the t-shirt should make it through. I also like a hat. Hats are also easy to store.
The thing about a hat for me is there's an incongruity between the memory and the style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I will get, it's frequently baseball caps, right? But I like a baseball cap that sits a certain way. I have a huge head, so I need an extra large hat. But I have in the past gotten souvenir hats from places, and then I just have a box. I never wear them because the style isn't something that I like, or it's like not all baseball caps are created equal, and a couple, it's in the moment it feels great,
right?
But then I don't wear it terribly often afterwards.
I only buy stuff I will wear, so it goes in rotation. Seattle was my Seattle Supersonics hat. I wore that this week. So it's in the hat rotation. Some of it is I take the hat off and put it somewhere, and then it's the next hat I see, so I just put it on again.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the moment of opportunity for the hat if it's somewhere visible.
You're getting an audition, or you're getting called up from the minors.
Yeah. All right. This
Speaking
is your moment.
of calling up from the minors, I do have a one-of-a-kind hat that I'm not one-of-a-kind, but few-of-a-kind hat that I'm very excited about. The Dodgers right now are currently in the NLCS, the National League Championship Series. I'm a big Dodger fan, and whenever the Dodgers are playing, I have to wear my new era Dodgers baseball cap that was acquired by a friend of mine from the locker of Kenley Jansen, one of our great relief pitchers, and his number is even ironed inside the hat, number 74.
Oh, that's cool.
So I know
who got that for you.
And Kenley Jansen has dreadlocks. So Kenley's head plus dreadlocks equals the size of my head with short cropped hair. So it actually fits my head really well, thanks to Kenley's dreadlocks. So that's my one-of-a-kind hat that I have that I'm very excited about. But yeah, I think the t-shirt beats the hat for me.
Yeah, that's fair. And also beats like socks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, socks are great, sure, but the t-shirt for the aforementioned reasons.
Right.
All
right, let's go to knickknacks.
All right, here's what I have in the knickknacks category. Keychains.
Mm-hmm.
Local arts and crafts.
Okay.
Paper ephemera.
Uh-huh.
Toys and novelties. That would include the pressed penny and the snow globe, etc.
Yeah, snow globe. Like sure.
And you know what? This last one I'm going to take off of there.
What was it?
It was event souvenirs, but that felt like a totally different category.
Yeah,
like,
that's not a vacation.
that's a separate thing. That's not a vacation. That's an event. Yeah. So we're looking at keychains, arts and crafts, paper ephemera, and toys and novelties. I have one of these that I think is hands down the victor. And I say this as a person who I say this as a person who collects keychains.
Really?
I also collect paper ephemera. It is free. It is scrapbookable. It is unique to the experience that I am having on this trip. It's easy to pack. I have a little book that I picked up when I was in Berlin, and it's designed to be a journal. But what I did with it was I took every bit of paper ephemera that I had from the trip, train tickets, etc. Another great one that I love is grabbing a business card from every restaurant that I eat in. They always have a little stack of business cards at the front, or a lot of times do. And put one of those in there, or a little pocket map that I get. I'm not talking about like receipts, but any little bit of paper ephemera that was in my hand when I was in a place, or that reminds me of a place that I've been, that I can collect together later and relive an experience. I mean, I have a wall right now over here, a cork board, and everything on that cork board is a bit of paper ephemera from a trip that I've taken. It's stamps from the Vatican. It's my ticket to the Eiffel Tower. It's all of these different things. And that little book that I got in Berlin is now my prized travel souvenir, because it's a whole trip condensed into one little book. And I remember all of those moments that I had on that trip. These other things are great. The keychains are great. My box of keychains is wonderful. Local arts and crafts, fantastic. If there's a certain art style that an area is known for, or you go to a beach town and find some cool shell art or something, great. The snow globes, hey, here's a tiny 3D version of the town you just went to. Oh, look, now it's winter in that town. Great. The pressed penny, I would argue the pressed penny years ago was a better souvenir than it is now, because now it's just put your credit card in and the penny falls out. It's not the mechanical quarters.
Yeah, screw that.
Crank the thing. You know what I mean?
That's the whole joy of it. Is
the joy of it is watching the penny press yourself.
Yeah.
You're taking a penny out of your own pocket and turning it into a thing. And if it's older than 83, it's an all copper penny.
Yeah.
What do you think? I realized I went long for a moment there.
No, I almost thought, I should call Jennifer up here and just put her on the mic. And if I did that and I asked, I don't know why she can't hear me. I think if I asked her, just point blank, like, what is it you always pick up when we go on a trip somewhere, we visit someplace? She'll say she goes to like that brochure rack.
Oh, yeah.
If you put out, it's like putting a honeypot out to trap Winnie the Pooh. She goes over to that thing, not as much anymore, and grabs everything, but with the intention of we'll go do stuff. That said, there are trips where I have kept the tickets and I have kept the booklets.
Yeah.
Never done anything with them though. That doesn't make them bad souvenirs. I'm just considering it because I hadn't thought of it before. And then upon further consideration, I wonder if I grabbed my memory box right now, if I had that stuff in it. Should I check?
Yeah, check.
It's right. It's easily accessible.
Okay. This is exciting. While we're waiting for Hal to get back, Ken, I have a little bit of paper ephemera that I picked up that I need to send to you that I think you will get a kick out of. That is the other beauty of paper ephemera, Hal. Hal?
You don't have to yell. I can hear you. You're in my ear.
Hal!
What?
I forgot he's wearing wireless AirPods.
Oh.
Yeah. So I can't really say anything to the people of the world about Hal while he's gone, except that we're planning a surprise party for him.
What?
Nothing. Yeah. He's finally getting bar mitzvahed.
Okay. All right. Here's the box, by the way.
Oh, that's delightful.
I'm going to see. I'm just going to look very quickly. We're not going to do a whole trip down memory lane. See if I have anything here. No, I do not apparently have right away one of those things. I have an old pack of baseball cards from the 80s.
Fantastic. Have you opened it yet?
No. And old Disneyland tickets that I bought on eBay.
There you go.
Those are like the top two things.
So I have lots and lots of paper ephemera. I have a bag that is unsorted paper ephemera from our recent Asia trip. I have right next to me in my filing cabinet. This is because I have it by the case, or by the, packing box in our storage unit. This is just the paper ephemera folder of unsorted stuff from the last few months. But what I'll do is I'll go through it and trim things, if it's just like one little image from something or a little piece of a map.
Okay.
That to me is,
Put the paper ephemera through. What are our finalists?
What else, do you want to look at any of the other finalists in this? Keychains, arts and crafts, or toys and novelties?
No, toys and novelties they're all fun, but they all wind up in the garbage. And I think paper ephemera has probably the best shot outside of keychains of living on, and it's nice to have the picture reference of places you've been, and it transports you much more than the keychain that I had that had a San Francisco streetcar on it. I did have one thing my parents used to get me everywhere they went, and it became a running joke, is a deck of cards. I have a cheap deck of playing cards.
I love a deck of playing cards from
all these different places. But
that's a great one in the toys and games.
Like they would buy it at the airport. That's how bad, and they're always really low grade cards. So they suck at their purpose. That's why I wouldn't take them through. But they have personal meaning to me for that reason.
Yeah. So unless you get the cards, there's a little more exotic feel if you get the cards at another location. Like I got a pack of cards in Russia once. And so they don't use the same royalty on them. So there's different elements. They don't use the same pieces. But I mean, you could count that as paper ephemera. It's just paper ephemera that's purchased.
Nah, that's a toy and game sort of thing.
That's fair. Yeah. Now I'm looking in this, I just when you stepped away, I started thumbing through. I was like, yeah, I remember this. A flyer from a band I saw in another city.
Yeah.
A ticket to when we went to the Daily Show taping. I
may still have our tickets from when we went to see the Tonight Show in 1992.
Yes. Oh,
welcome the Spin Doctors. They were on the show. We saw the Spin Doctors.
Oh, amazing. Did they sing Two Princes?
Yes. And Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. I think those were the two
1, 2, tickets in your pocket. Yeah. For the show now, keep them until you've got your own show. Yep. It's called a podcast.
Also attended a taping of the Dennis Miller Show when he had his talk before HBO, when he had a talk show.
Oh, wow. Not that Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Not that one. No, the one that failed.
Ah, nice. I would love a collection of tickets to TV show tapings that I went to of one season shows.
You're right.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Cop Rock.
All right. So let's take a look at our finalists. We have three. We have three finalists. We have the magnet, the T-shirt, and paper ephemera. Now, what do we think of the criteria that a great souvenir has?
Mark, I think we're trying to circle something. I think we both know the answer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think it's paper ephemera also?
I do also think it's paper ephemera.
Hal, then bring us home. What are we even doing here?
People of the world, T-shirts will fade and stretch and tear or not fit or wind up in the back of a closet. That is true. Any of these can. Magnets are fun. There's only so much room for them, and then it just becomes a crowded mess on the refrigerator. I don't know how often you all stop and admire them, but they're neat. They serve their purpose fine. But the paper ephemera, it does really transport you. Each ticket is like a ticket to your past. It's this passport to have these memories flood back rather than, this shirt. I remember walking around the store and it makes me think about the trip in general, but there's something about paper ephemera that transports you more specifically to the places in it. And I can't even back it logically beyond that. It's just a gut feeling that that's the best souvenir. Asked and answered. We're doing this one by the gut, folks. It happens.
That's right. And it's free.
It's
the free souvenir. Yeah. Sometimes we go on gut, and sometimes our gut's right.
Yes. Thank you, Karen Mosteller Grantham, Lady Grantham, for that
Lady
wonderful
Grantham.
topic.
Thank you so much. This topic is closed, but there are many more topics to discuss, so please reach out to us via email at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com or
find us all over social media at We Got This Podcast, with the exception of Instagram, where we are at We Got This Show. And don't forget our Facebook group where you can share your favorite souvenirs. Let's see some pictures of souvenirs that are important to you. I'm always curious about that. That's facebook.com/groups/We Got This Podcast. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, researcher Kate McManus, graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, the people of the world, for giving us an opportunity every week to sit with one another and talk about things that we care about. You people of the world are so delightful. I would be your lookout if you wanted to reach over the bar and grab one of those little cardboard coasters that said where exactly we were in this very moment. And then you pull it out later and look at it. I want to be in that moment with you, and I want to remember that moment later, because to you we say thank you, thank you, thank you. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody. We got this.
We got this.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows
supported
directly
by you.